And here I'm not worried now about getting part of the waves hit and miss, because I've got this blue tone underneath. But you can see like that how easy that is just to pick up a new wave each time. I'm just adding a little bit of raw sienna here for this wave here. You can see it just gives a slightly different colour, slightly different variety of colour. And because I'm using this in a dry brush effect, you see these little flecks now are quite effective. I'm not worried about it, and go back into some of those waves while it's still a little bit damp as well. And you can see it's not difficult to actually create new waves as long as they're not too deep. Remember, we want this as a swell, not as an Atlantic storm. All the time though, trying to imagine that these waves are flowing in a steady rhythmic stream that you're trying to replicate. So it's not a case of choppy waves all over the place. That little cap there, that's fine, that's all you want there, and just there, that's fine. It just gives a nice effect. Now it's not too difficult, as you can see. It just takes a little bit of perseverance. The main thing is don't rush it. It's an atmosphere that you're trying to achieve. The atmosphere, everything contributes to. The type of sky we've got, the misty, murky background of the docks, the steely blue-grey of the water that reflects the sky, the rust of a well-worn ship going about its business. And as we'll see in a minute, when I come to put the smoke coming out of the steamer, it's going to be going slightly forward, which gives a further impression that if the wind is blowing the smoke ahead of the steamer, it must be a really blustery day. If you've got a clarity about what you want to achieve in the picture, then it'll go right. If you're just sort of painting things by numbers and you're sort of thinking, oh, I know, I'll paint that blue and I'll paint that red just as it happens to come along, then you'll end up with a picture that looks like it's been painted by numbers. The main thing is to don't have all the waves as even little triangles all nicely spaced like a set of bricks on top of each other. Right, slightly darker in the foreground now, because as with the clouds up here, we want to force the viewer into the middle of the picture towards the focal point, and darkening the corners is a very effective way to do that. Don't want it too dark, but we'll go over that shortly. Just put some darker colour in the top here while that's still slightly damp. Now do you see the way that works? Here, where it's slightly damp still, I'm getting that slightly shaded effect on the part that's not catching the light. Right, now I've got some of the same colour mix, and here and there we're just adding a few extra streaks. I've got to be a bit careful here, because by no means am I going to go every single wave, because frankly it doesn't need it. Some areas will jump out at me. Here's one, this one here for example, because it's too light at the moment and it needs darkening off. Now can you see the way I'm stabbing in darker colour here, because it just contrasts nicely with the light foam at the stern. And the same again below the bow waves of the ship. Okay, although it's a dull day, you'll always get a bit of shade and reflection in the water just below the dark hull here, and you can see again the same again near the stern, and that also helps the red part of the hull just above it to stand out. Right, now the only other things that remains to be done, as I promised before, I'll put some smoke heading forwards, which gives a real impression that the wind is actually blowing from left to right faster than the ship is moving. You can almost imagine that the way the smoke is going all over the place, that the wind is blustering, it's dragging it this way and that way and throwing it all over the place till it dissipates into the distance. Right, that's fine. We'll just let that run in one or two places like that, so we can trace its path through the sky as it drifts away into nothing. Now can you see as well that by creating those subtle lead-ins of waves with the slightly darker colour, it actually creates those lead-ins to the eye towards the focal point. Remember, the water is not the focal point, although this is what the exercise is about. The focal point is whatever you have sitting in the water. So there we are. I've enjoyed that because that ship, even though it may not be 100% accurate as the SS Peveril II, still brings back fond memories of my first job taking customs papers down to the Coburg dock in Liverpool so that the SS Peveril could take a couple of barrels of beer across to the Isle of Man. So you're living in the Isle of Man and you drink Bass and Worthington and you remember those times, just remember who to thank to make sure that the barrels of beer got across to you in the first place. The main thing is, I hope that you've learned how easy it is to create this myriad of textures and tones in a sea that's got a nice swell to it and isn't too stormy, but certainly is a little bit more than some of the gentle ripples that we've seen. A little bit of perseverance, stage by stage, and you can achieve the same as that, or hopefully even better. So there we are, the Peveril in the Mersey in the Swell. Well, there we are. There's some of the examples of the water that we've looked at within the landscape environment. I've really enjoyed painting these and I hope it's inspired you to have a go yourself, and I hope you realise that again it's a few simple steps that you follow, obviously with a little bit of practice, and very quickly you can get to painting believable water in any landscape painting you choose. Next up, we're going to look at man-made elements in the landscape, and obviously that means buildings and structures. But I think you know the format well enough by now. As soon as you're ready to go, you press the play button and you'll find I'm here waiting to start, and together we'll have a look at buildings and structures and how they fit within a watercolour landscape. So I'll see you next time. Cheers.